Tonight on Tech Live.
Dangerous and disturbing this puzzle is.
Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, premiered worldwide, and Tech TV was there from coast to coast. We'll tell you what the stars had to say.
And now, here's Tech Live's Michaela Pereira and Erica Hill.
Thanks for joining us. You could call it Attack of the Clones Week. It is the hot topic among Star Wars fans. Episode 2 opens Thursday, but the festivities are already underway. Premieres took place across the country last night. Our entertainment reporter Chris Kosach joined us live with the fanfare. Chris?
Well, Star Wars stars spread out across the nation to attend charity world premieres in 11 cities. We had crews on the red carpets from coast to coast, and we begin in Los Angeles.
The Mann's Chinese Theater played host to the Hollywood premiere of Star Wars, Attack of the Clones. A slew of celebrities were on hand, including one of the baddest Jedis around, second only to Yoda. Playing the part wasn't hard for Samuel L. Jackson, even the work in front of the blue screen.
I was a child and played in my room the same way. When it was raining, when I fought things that were jumping out of the walls at me, it was the same thing.
Still, it took some imagination.
I was the guy standing there fighting a lot of things that weren't there. When I got to the film the first time, I actually saw everything they had to draw in front of me. Most times it looked like a guy who's standing there losing his mind.
Working with the latest in filmmaking technology was a little tougher for co-star Ewan McGregor.
There's no denying it, it's technically very difficult to act convincingly with nothing there, you know. It's kind of not what I'm used to doing, but then that becomes the challenge, you know, that becomes your acting challenge.
In New York, co-star Natalie Portman said those challenges are worth the rewards.
I think I really love this movie. I think it's really exciting. There's really great action. There's amazing effects. I mean, you've got two pretty hot guys running around with their lightsabers, and Yoda gets a kick-ass scene.
This time around, Yoda is all digital, something the voice behind the character is very proud of.
You couldn't have done it any other way this time, so I'm just thrilled with what they did.
And at the San Francisco premiere, creator George Lucas says Yoda is the single biggest accomplishment in Episode 2.
Probably creating the digital Yoda. That was the hardest thing we had to do.
But the digital lessons learned making The Phantom Menace paid off.
Episode 1 was a training session for us. We learned, but we didn't have to add too much. We improved the technology we were using in 1, but we didn't add to it.
Lucasfilms is helping various children's organizations from around the country with charitable showings like this one today. This particular show, $500 a seat, 1,100 seats. You do the math.
We decided it's much better to do charity premieres where it can really benefit children rather than just have a big party for a bunch of Hollywood types.
Now, the concept of fundraising premieres is not new to George Lucas. He seems to do this every 3 years with each new installment of the Star Wars saga. Michaela?
And fans are pretty excited. I was at the LA premiere, and folks were just lining up just across the street to get a chance to look at Samuel L. Jackson and Ewan McGregor. Are they expecting Star Wars to surpass Spider-Man's opening of 114 million?
Well, actually, this film, even though Spider-Man opened from coast to coast, and this one opens from coast to coast, it is in a smaller amount of cinemas. But then again, tickets have been sold out for the first few shows, and this is not opening on Friday. It's opening on Wednesday in select cities and opening up to more theaters come Friday. So my guess, yeah, it's going to probably be at least 100 million. That's my thought.
All right, that's Chris Kosach. An exciting week ahead. It is about time for you to sound off, folks. We want to know, are you going to see Star Wars Attack of the Clones? We'll have the results for you at the end of the show.
Took off 6 years ago with a film called Trainspotting, and it hasn't slowed down since. Although his choices of roles have traditionally been more offbeat than commercial, he says he didn't hesitate when he was asked to audition for the latest Star Wars epic.
Pull up, Anakin. Pull up! You know I don't like it when you do that.
Sorry, Master. Money's never been my goal, so I've been able to just to pick what makes me what's interesting. There's no rules for me. I have no idea. I just read things, and if I want to play them, I'll see if they'll let me, you know. And that's the way it was with this too. And at first, I really very seriously thought about it because I knew I was getting down to the last 5 or 6 or something, and I then very seriously stepped back from it and thought, do I really want this? Is this? It's not the kind of work I've been doing, you know. It is enormous in its scale, Star Wars. And I just thought about it, and I thought about the fact that I was now a father, how I'd felt about the films when I was a kid, you know. And my daughter's now 6, the age I was when I saw the first Star Wars film. And I thought, I've never done a film that children have seen, you know. Usually having sex or have needles in my arms or something that, you know, disallows children to go and watch it for very good reason, usually. But this would be one that my daughter could watch, and I thought that was nice.
Blast! This is why I hate flying.
And then the nearer I got, I just thought, no, I really want to do this. I really do. I want to be part of the magical fantasy that is the Star Wars world.
This newest Star Wars episode takes place 10 years after The Phantom Menace. McGregor once again plays Obi-Wan Kenobi, only with a major difference.
Well, I'm now the master. I'm now no longer the apprentice. Anakin's now 20, 19, I don't know how old she's meant to be. And when the film starts, I'm still very much trying to keep him in his place, because he's very spirited and rebellious in a sense. But obviously everybody refers to him as having incredible Jedi powers. So there's already seeds, so you can see that potentially he's going to... He's started sowing that in so that he can become Darth Vader.
It's all Obi-Wan's fault. He's holding me back.
You're not all-powerful, Anakin.
Well, I should be.
Taking on the role of the young Anakin Skywalker is newcomer Hayden Christensen.
I love working with Hayden. He's such a brilliant guy and a great actor, a really passionate young actor. And he loves what he does, you know.
And when he does become Darth Vader, he of course battles Obi-Wan Kenobi. The part was originally played by Sir Alec Guinness, who earned an Academy Award nomination with his performance.
It's what my challenge is in this film, is to be a young version of Alec Guinness, you know. That is my job, and that's what makes it most interesting for me, is that to try and take a character we know and love. I mean, it's a legendary performance, Alec Guinness as Obi-Wan Kenobi.
The Force will be with you.
All of the Star Wars film come from the mind of George Lucas, but there's another man behind the scenes McGregor thinks deserves some attention.
He's quite an unsung hero, really, Nick Gillard, our stunt coordinator, because he's quite an artist in the way he's choreographed me in the way that Obi-Wan Kenobi fights. He's worked with Hayden on the way that Hayden fights is different. It's a kind of more youthful, more aggressive, higher, holds his lightsaber higher. He's actually, as an artist, has laced our different fight styles together to the point that he's thought it through to where Hayden and I will have a massive, massive lightsaber fight at the end of episode 3. There's got to be one, and it's got to cap all the fights that have been in any Star Wars film previous to it.
And that cap to the Star Wars films, episode 3, will be in theaters in May of 2005. Later this week, we'll have interviews with Hayden Christensen and Samuel L. Jackson. And next week, we'll talk with Natalie Portman, as well as Star Wars creator George Lucas.
Smart, grounded, and ready for the force known as stardom.
I sat down with Hayden at Skywalker Ranch near San Francisco, where it all began.
Just the fact that, you know, they make films here, it's a place that's, you know, so conducive to creative energy and just, you know, clear thinking.
The 5,000-acre Skywalker Ranch is where Hayden had his final audition for Star Wars Episode 2. One look around here, plus the Star Wars legacy, and Hayden knew that this movie would be a life-changing experience.
Star Wars is a pretty all-consuming, you know, world. When you're making the film, and especially when you're promoting it. So it's really been a big part of my life for the past 2 years.
Those 2 years have been jam-packed with rehearsals, training, filming, and promoting, all potentially overwhelming unless you look on the brighter side of being Anakin Skywalker.
It was more fun than anything else.
Are you at all concerned about, in the future, everyone thinking of you solely as Star Wars?
Obviously, it's you know, a bit of a trap, but it's not something that I can control.
This 21-year-old star can, however, control his personal life to a degree.
I still enjoy doing the same things. I still live at home in Canada, so it's I don't know, it's not that bad.
I was reading Teen People. Okay, but
yes.
You guys are on the cover. Now, did you guys talk about, oh, you know, as soon as we start showing up together, people are going to say we're dating and all that?
No, I mean, you know, it started, you know, even when we were filming in Sydney, you know, the local newspaper started to speculate, and it's something that we just laugh at.
And you know, you would think that after Star Wars, Hayden would take some time off, but instead he'll be working on a film that he's producing with his brother.
Wow. He's reminding me of, who was the lady that was in Batman, and then she was like producing too? Alicia Silverstone.
Sure, okay.
He's following in her footsteps.
Yeah. And we will have more from Star Wars fans a little later on.
On Thursday, but this past weekend, folks in 11 cities got a star-studded preview. And from New York to Toronto to LA, Extra had all the excitement covered.
It was a surprise Attack of the Clones.
It's a huge event.
A Star Wars bombardment at early celebrity-studded premieres in Hollywood, New York, and 9 other cities.
It's wonderful.
And a preview of the pandemonium to come when Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, is unleashed upon the rest of the world Thursday.
Welcome to the premiere.
Michael J. Fox, Susan Sarandon, Claire Danes, and Star Wars veterans Carrie Fisher and James Earl Jones were among a galaxy of luminaries who turned out for the Sunday premieres to benefit children's charities. And Extra was there for special coast-to-coast coverage of the extraordinary event.
I'm Barry Nolan in New York at the premiere of Episode 2 with the extravagantly beautiful Natalie Portman. Aren't you supposed to be studying for exams?
Supposed to be is the key phrase.
But the young Padme confessed the premiere to benefit the Children's Aid Society was a welcome break from cramming for college exams.
I got to come here and dress up and be glamour girl for a few hours. You're making fun of me.
No, I'd be much too frightened to tease a senator.
Meanwhile, Padme's beloved Anakin Skywalker, a.k.a. Hayden Christensen, was the hero of the premiere in his native Toronto to raise money for Child Find.
It's nice to, be able to do it with my family and friends and here in my hometown. It's very special.
And co-star Ewan McGregor was among the famous who turned out for the Fulfillment Fund at the Hollywood premiere, where Jerry Penacoli caught up with him.
Episode 2 hasn't even opened yet, but Obi-Wan himself, right here on the red carpet, gave us a sneak peek of what to expect in Episode 3.
Anakin, don't do anything without first consulting either myself or the Council.
A possible fight to the death with Anakin.
Well, we want it to be the biggest, baddest fight scene out of the 6 movies.
But Samuel L. Jackson, a.k.a. Mace Windu, was just as interested in the Star Wars battle with Spider-Man at the box office.
You'll have seen Spider-Man like 5 times, and then it's time to go to your Star Wars fix.
None of which seems to concern big-hearted Star Wars creator George Lucas, who was at the San Francisco premiere to help the California Mentoring Foundation.
We decided it's much better to do charity premieres where it can really benefit children rather than just have a big party for a bunch of Hollywood types.
Begun this Clone War has.
In the truly noble tradition of Star Wars gallantry.
Thank you for joining us. Star Wars is back. Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, premiered in 11 cities worldwide this weekend in screenings linked to charity fundraisers. Will the Force be with the movie yet again? Paul Boyd with all the critical buzz on the latest Star Wars saga.
Mr. Jackson? The stars came out in force for the premiere of Star Wars Episode 2, and most made it a family affair.
We're psyched. We want to get up there and see what they have.
Michael J. Fox's kids were at the New York premiere with Mom Tracy Paulin. Dennis Leary brought his family, and so did Peter Gallagher. Macaulay Culkin came alone, but made some new friends. And a lot of attention was focused on the star of the movie, Natalie Portman, who talked about her new sexy look in the movie.
Because they're trying to make me look cute, because it's a little romance.
Across the country in Los Angeles, Natalie's co-star Ewan McGregor topped a bill of stars that we haven't seen in a while, like Shannon Doherty, Claire Danes, and Janine Turner, who brought along her mom and little girl, Juliet. Up the coast in San Francisco, where most of the movie's special effects were created, Star Wars director George Lucas held court with guests Carrie Fisher and Cheech Marin.
It was by far the best one.
Of course, the big question is, will the movie live up to all the hype? The reviews are in, and they're mixed.
It's just a fun ride. It's 2 hours of just pure entertainment.
Critic saw the movie this weekend and loved it.
This one's back to the old Star Wars magic, and I think that people will be really excited about it.
The story just isn't that interesting, and a lot of the lines are unintentionally funny.
But Time Out New York film editor Darren Daddario was expecting better.
A lot of the story is very slow, sort of awkwardly told.
And Darren isn't alone. The New York Daily News calls it a star bore, and Newsweek magazine says it's the attack of the groans, while the New York Times tells its readers appears not to believe the hype. On the other hand, Time magazine raves. If this is the future of movies, bring it on. And the New York Post says the movie is eye-popping and crowd-pleasing, while Variety magazine calls it grand entertainment. But no matter what the critics say, Attack of the Clones is sure to be a formidable force at the box office.
One employment agency is estimating that 2.6 million people will skip work to attend the Attack of the Clones debut.
Halle Berry was the surprise guest as Star Wars momentum continues to build for director George Lucas, as well as stars Hayden Christensen and Samuel L. Jackson. They all turned out for the UK premiere of Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, which opens here in the U.S. in just 2 days.
Attack of the Clones week.
It is the hot topic among Star Wars fans. Episode 2 opens Thursday, but the festivities are already underway. Premieres took place across the country last night. Our entertainment reporter Chris Kosach joined us live with the fanfare. Chris?
Well, Star Wars stars spread out across the nation to attend charity world premieres in 11 cities. We had crews on the red carpets from coast to coast, and we begin in Los Angeles.
The Mann's Chinese Theater played host to the Hollywood premiere of Star Wars, Attack of the Clones. A slew of celebrities were on hand, including one of the baddest Jedis around, second only to Yoda. Playing the part wasn't hard for Samuel L. Jackson, even the work in front of the blue screen.
I was a child and played in my room the same way. When it was raining, when I fought things that were jumping out of the walls at me, it was the same thing.
Still, it took some imagination.
I was the guy standing there fighting a lot of things that weren't there. When I got to the film the first time, I actually saw everything they had to draw in front of me. Most times it looks like a guy who's standing there losing his mind.
Working with the latest in filmmaking technology was a little tougher for co-star Ewan McGregor.
There's no denying it, it's technically very difficult to act convincingly with nothing there, you know. It's kind of not what I'm used to doing, but then that becomes the challenge, you know, that becomes your acting challenge.
In New York, co-star Natalie Portman said those challenges are worth the rewards.
I think I really love this movie. I think it's really exciting. There's really great action. There's amazing effects. I mean, you've got two pretty hot guys running around with their lightsabers, and Yoda gets a kick-ass scene.
This time around, Yoda is all digital, something the voice behind the character is very proud of.
You couldn't have done it any other way this time, so I'm just thrilled with what they did.
And at the San Francisco premiere, creator George Lucas says Yoda is the single biggest accomplishment in Episode 2.
Probably creating the digital Yoda. That was the hardest thing we had to do.
But the digital lessons learned making The Phantom Menace paid off.
Episode 1 was a training session for us. We learned, but we didn't have to add too much. We improved the technology we were using in 1, but we didn't add to it.
Lucasfilms is helping various children's organizations from around the country with charitable showings like this one today. This particular show, $500 a seat, 1,100 seats. You do the math.
We decided it's much better to do charity premieres where it can really benefit children rather than just have a big party for a bunch of Hollywood types.
Now, the concept of fundraising premieres is not new to George Lucas. He seems to do this every 3 years with each new installment of the Star Wars saga. Michaela?
And fans are pretty excited. I was at the LA premiere and folks were just lining up just across the street to get a chance to look at Samuel L. Jackson and Ewan McGregor. Are they expecting Star Wars to surpass Spider-Man's opening of 114 million?
Well, actually, this film, even though Spider-Man opened from coast to coast, and this one opens from coast to coast, it is in a smaller amount of cinemas. But then again, tickets have been sold out for the first few shows, and this is not opening on Friday. It's opening on Wednesday in select cities and opening up to more theaters come Friday. So my guess, yeah, it's going to probably be at least 100 million. That's my thought.
All right, that's Chris Kosach. An exciting week ahead. It is about time for you to sound off, folks. We want to know, are you going to see Star Wars Attack of the Clones? We'll have the results for you at the end of the show.
Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. Barbara Shumba Williams has the news from the film's premieres, plural, covering all 4 corners of the Star Wars universe.
In New York, Michael J. Fox and his son Sam, Macaulay and Kieran Culkin, and star Natalie Portman came to the premiere, benefiting the Children's Aid Society. Natalie was missing her finals.
I'm actually going back to take the rest of my finals right after this.
The Hollywood premiere benefiting the Fulfillment Fund had the Jedi Knights, Ewan McGregor, and Samuel L. Jackson.
Sam gave us some hints about the next Star Wars movie. In the next one, you get killed off.
Yeah. But I plan to get killed off in style. I don't plan to get shot in the back by some droid.
In his hometown of Toronto, Hayden brought his mom to the premiere that benefited Child Find Toronto.
That's why I'm here, so I can be with my mom and my family on Mother's Day.
And in San Francisco, George Lucas brought Carrie Fisher to a benefit for the California Mentor Foundation before getting back to work on the final episode.
I'm working on it. I've been working on it for about a month now.
Thanks a lot, Rashumba. And the premieres don't stop for Star Wars. Sam, Hayden, and George are all expected in London when the movie debuts there tomorrow.
The second film of the Star Wars series, Attack of the Clones. I caught up with Jackson at the George Lucas Skywalker Ranch outside San Francisco.
I will not let this republic be split in two. My negotiations will not fail.
If they do, there aren't enough Jedi to protect the Republic. We're keepers of the peace, not soldiers.
It's been 3 years since The Phantom Menace, the first one you were in. When it was time to do this again, were you up for it? Were you ready?
Yeah, more than ready.
Yeah.
I knew that my role was going to be expanded in a way, and Nick, the stunt coordinator, had called me and told me I had this really great lightsaber battle finally with an important character in the script. I was like, okay, great, let's go.
So how'd you prep for this? I mean, how did you prepare for all this lightsaber stuff?
Well, I've been prepping all my life.
Really?
In my mind. All the Errol Flynn movies I watched, all the sword fights I had with my friends, all the imaginary things I fought in my room and rolled over the bed and swinging off stuff in the house to the point of somebody going, shut up, stop it. I've been waiting for this for a very long time.
Did you ever think that you'd be given a chance to do something like this?
Oh, of course not. You wish, and you kind of hope, and you fantasize about it. But I guess if you put enough positive energy out there, it's like my wife always says, you always end up doing the things that you want to do. I mean, I wished for something like this, and I got it.
Who is Mace Windu to you?
Oh, he's this member of the Jedi Council that's, you know, extremely high up on the council. He's basically second in command to Yoda. They have a close personal relationship, and they're both very disturbed right now because there's something that they can't see, and that's unusual for them.
Physically, was this one of the more challenging movies you've done?
It's challenging in some interesting sorts of ways because, yeah, we are running, we are jumping, and we are sword fighting, basically.
How did you get a purple lightsaber?
You know, it's kind of hard to say because I just kind of suggested it to George one day. I was kind of, you know, do I have to have, like, a blue lightsaber? And he said, well, the good guys have just gone and black bad guys. I'm like, yeah, but you think maybe I could have, like, a purple one? A combination of the two colors? No, the good guys have this and that. But George, I am, like, a Jedi Master, and I'm, like, the second baddest guy in the universe. And I didn't really want to tell him my real reason was because I knew we had this big, you know, battle scene down in the arena, and they're going to do a long shot. I wanted to make sure I could find my light. But I could say, that's me.
Is it fun doing these movies?
Oh, definitely. I mean, how could you not have fun doing something that's this steeped in lore, that is this fantastic, that is a huge extension of all the kids' games we've ever played. It's got intrigue, it's got excitement, you're moving fast, you're like all powerful, and you're a hero. Everybody wants to be that guy that when the smoke clears, you're the guy that's standing there in the middle of the street, you know, your lightsaber's still out and everything. You got a pile of like droids laying around you and you're still there, you know.
You're still standing.
You're still standing.
It was pretty cool. I mean, you seem to really be flowing and into that. I mean, there were some moves. I mean,
well, we all have our own styles. We were encouraged to develop our own styles out of, you know, basic kendo and fencing moves. And I'm a Hong Kong film fan. Good. And because I am the second baddest guy in the universe, I figure I don't waste a lot of time with people. When, you know, they get in front of me, they die. And they die pretty quickly. So I dispatch them quickly and with a small flair.
Well, the second baddest guy in the universe is signed up and ready for Episode 3, which doesn't hit theaters until 2005. But Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, opens tomorrow. And we'll have more from New York and more from Matt at Skibo Castle in Scotland. But first, these messages.
Lots of excitement coming up from Cannes.
To stand in the dressing room and put your Jedi robes on, it's almost a holy experience.
Jedi Master Samuel L. Jackson finds the Force while fans get ready for the big overnight opening.
Here. Star Wars fans, it's all new to me. Star Wars fans are a tenacious bunch, and lines have already started forming for the midnight showing of Attack of the Clones. Fans from Texas to New York have been camping out, some for several weeks, just to be the first on their block to see the new film, which officially opens tomorrow. You've already seen it. What do you think?
Yes, I have.
It
was like being in a candy store. Just so much to look at. You don't know what to do. It was really it was a spectacle.
I see a commercial in your future.
It was a spectacle. Samuel L. Jackson is a bad mother. Shut your mouth. Just talking about Sam. In Star Wars Episode 2, he plays Jedi Master Mace Windu, the baddest guy in the galaxy. I sat down with Sam at Skywalker Ranch to discuss life as a Jedi.
We're keepers of the peace, not soldiers.
It's like a dream come true.
Samuel L. Jackson has been a Star Wars fan since the first film in 1977. But it was a casual comment that nabbed him a role in Episode 1.
The story as I know it is, you said on a talk show that you wanted to be in Star Wars, in a Star Wars movie.
Exactly.
And someone heard you. Is that true?
Yeah, that's true. I was doing a talk show in London, and they were there doing pre-production. And they asked me that question, if there were any directors I hadn't worked with that I wanted to, and I realized he was about to start this. I said, yeah, George Lucas.
And not only is Sam reprising his role in Episode 2, he gets to kick it up a notch with a little Jedi action.
You do find out that when Mace decides to take action, he's a man of action. I think that Mace Windu, being where he is in the Jedi Council and the kind of guy he is, there's probably only one guy in the whole Republic that could probably take him, and that's Yoda. So I figured I would have a style that dispatches people pretty quickly and with efficiency and has a bit of flair.
Is there one thing that changed from the first to this one for you?
I'm still in awe of the fact that I'm there and that I'm in it. And I guess the most difficult job for me most times is not having a big grin on my face when, it's time to work.
And Sam says in Episode 3, the majority of the Jedi are wiped out, and that includes his character, Mace Windu. So he knows it has to happen. He says he just doesn't want to, quote, die like a punk. Star Wars Episode 2 opens tonight at 12:01 a.m., and we will have all the news on the long-awaited release tomorrow.
Let's head to the newsroom and check in with Karina Shagrin. Karina, what are you working on for 6?
Well, since 3 o'clock this afternoon, fans of the new Star Wars movie have been lining up outside of Carmike Theater waiting for tonight's show to begin. Now, they're not waiting to buy tickets. In fact, this show is already sold out. Now they're waiting just to get the best seat in the house. Tonight at 6, we'll be down at the theater, and we are going to talk to some of these fans. We'll see what this movie is worth waiting outside for. That's coming up tonight at 6. Kevin,
6 hours to wait before the midnight showing of Episode 2.
Tonight's show is sold out. Now fans are waiting for the best seat. Karina Shagrin joins us, and Karina, some fans have been in line for a few hours now.
Kevin, Lucinda, fans have been lining up outside Carmike Theater since 3 o'clock this afternoon. Now, right now, there isn't a huge showing. I'd say there's maybe 10 people waiting in line. There's others just kind of hanging out, but everyone is excited to see this movie, despite the fact critics haven't been giving it rave reviews. In fact, Roger Ebert calls it a technological exercise that lacks juice and delight. The title is more appropriate than it should be. A New York Times critic calls it a chance for gifted actors to be handsomely paid for delivering the worst line readings of their career. Now, joining me now are Scott and Jake. You two were the first ones here. What time did you get here at?
3 o'clock.
3 o'clock, and you already have a ticket, right? You've already reserved your spot as number 1.
That's right, number 1, number 2.
So why are you still waiting out here?
I think it's kind of part of the hype. I mean, it's exciting to be a part of Star Wars and to be out here in front of everybody. It's fun to see everybody coming in the lines, and it's cool to be here in first.
Now, how big a Star Wars fan are you?
I'm a pretty big Star Wars fan. As you can see, I'm a pretty big guy, but I like Star Wars. I watched it when I was a little kid. My dad took me and my brothers and sisters all the time to the first episodes and everything, so this is great.
Excellent. Well, enjoy the movie. There's a lot of fun going on down here. Shoot, even if you're not seeing the movie, there's still plenty of activity going on. Kevin, Lucinda, I'll send it back to you.
All right.
All right, and the theater is running 16 shows tomorrow, 16 of these things. And as of now, there's tickets available for every show.
Yay!
So get on down
Let's
there.
go. Star Wars fans battle for a seat. The year
theaters opening in less than an hour, and Star Wars buffs can hardly wait to get into the theaters. Star Wars Episode 2, The Attack of the Clones, has many clones standing for hours to get good seats. The movie opens on Thursdays, so many theaters are rolling the film at 12:01 a.m. Fans are dressed up like their favorite characters and say, even though the movie will be in theaters for a long time, opening night is the most exciting of all.
I think a lot of it is just the hype and how much fun it is to be with all these other Star Wars nuts.
We love to get the early releases because you get a lot of audience participation, a lot of feedback stuff. It's really fun.
Star Wars fans had plenty of entertainment to occupy them on their wait tonight with karaoke and bouncy toys provided by KONA Radio. But of course, not everyone has tickets for Episode 2 in Yakima. A few folks have a tent and a makeshift campsite set up out in the parking lot. They're waiting to get the best seats for tomorrow's shows. Hundreds of people with tickets are waiting for the midnight showing, and just like the Tri-Cities, several people are dressed as Star Wars characters. And Tom, you are gearing up to head out to the Star Wars movie tonight. Are you excited?
Don't think about that, Lucinda. It's okay. Just go on your way. Let's go
The lightsabers are the weapons of choice for a Jedi. We'll show you where you can get a licensed replica.
In droves, all to guarantee they'll get a ticket, and that means big business for online ticket retailers. Chris Kosach joins us now with the latest in the countdown to the clones. Hi, Chris.
Hi, Erica. I'm so excited. Spider-Man jolted the movie world into the biggest opening weekend ever, fed partly by online ticket sales. Another record-breaking could be happening this weekend. Web ticket services say tomorrow's Star Wars Attack of the Clones debut will be huge.
The long-awaited mega-hyped Clones attacks theaters tomorrow. And while Spider-Man's opening smashed box office records, Attack of the Clones is an even hotter ticket. The best indicator, advanced online sales.
We're seeing great numbers for Star Wars. It's looking like it'll be our most successful film ever at movietickets.com.
It's not offering numbers, but movietickets.com says sales for Clones has already passed the advance for Spider-Man. Fandango.com says 84% of sales this week have been for Star Wars, and today, Star Wars tickets accounted for 97% of all sales.
Now, the convenience factor of buying your movie tickets online is pretty obvious. You're guaranteed a seat, and you don't have to stand in line here at one of these ticket booths. Nevertheless, true Star Wars fans, like these folks back here, say that standing in line for a couple of weeks is actually half of the experience.
Just to get the experience and the hype of Star Wars, you know, it's a great crowd to be here. We just kept on checking, like, through 77 Film and Movie Phone, Fandango, checking out what theaters were selling online, and I think it was early last week, Monday. Just got online and purchased the tickets.
And purchased them in droves, positioning Clones for a box office bonanza tomorrow.
And movietickets.com says that this new Star Wars may actually break all of their box office records. Erica, back to you.
Going to be a big one. Hey, Chris, how long have advanced ticket sales been going on?
Well, actually, the ticket sales have been happening since May the 3rd, and they say that they really are going to break a lot of records. I'll bring it all to you on Monday.
Sounds good. Chris Kosach, our entertainment
Since the
reporter.
first Star Wars movie back in 1977, over $5 billion has been spent on film-related merchandise, and now a new line of Star Wars toys is out. Here's our Brett Larson with cool stuff.
Stop by any toy store and you'll quickly realize Star Wars mania has moved beyond the theaters and onto store shelves. Let's start with the lightsaber. This particular one is Count Dooku's one-handed model. Its telescopic beam lights up and it sounds electronic battle noises when you hit something. There are numerous small ships you can collect, including the Jedi Fighter. LEGO Systems gets into the act with their build-it-yourself Star Wars kits. And for the collectors, there are plenty of action figures, and more action figures. In the Reeling in the Baby Boomers category, classic board games have been remade in full Star Wars regalia. And for traditionalists, there's even puzzles in collectible tins. And the Millennium Falcon may be the quickest way to get around the galaxy, but only a Star Wars skateboard will let you travel in style. Whew, that's cool stuff from a galaxy far, far away. I'm Brett Larson.
To find out more about those cool and far-out toys, go to our website, techlive.com. Multicolored colas and Jell-O sticks are part of a new wave of interesting foods. That's coming up in Thursday's Cool Stuff.
It is a kind of rite of passage, lining up and camping out sometimes for days, waiting for a Star Wars movie to open. And this time around is no different. From coast to coast, the lines are long. In New York City, here at the Zeke Field, fans are braving the wind to be the first inside. And check out the anticipation in the West. Long lines in Seattle as these fans wait to be among the first to see Episode 2. Here in California, a fan brought his entire office in line with him so he wouldn't miss work. We introduced him to you a few weeks ago. Our Silicon Valley Bureau Chief Jim Goldman has an update now on his ordeal and the lines growing around him.
Well, we're here in the heart of Silicon Valley, in line, online, just waiting for the premiere of Star Wars, now just hours away. Steve Dorsey has downsized his online inline office.
I'm Alpha Geek. I'm Uber Geek.
Power problems. Even a theater-ordered eviction made him abandon his original, impressive 3-Mac desktop setup.
This is a crisis.
Averting a crisis, Steve still runs his graphic design company from outside this San Jose movie theater using a wireless T1 tower and laptops galore.
As a matter of fact, one of my clients is coming out and we're going to have a business meeting here in line waiting for the movie.
Wow, that is something. With the news chopper buzzing overhead, Steve's tent city neighbors munching Star Wars chips, playing Star Wars Monopoly and Star Wars Stratego still marvel at his setup.
I finally found my best friend. It was like the version of me that had all the cool toys.
His abilities have made him arrogant.
More humble than arrogant, Steve still shares his experiences using his webcam with fans as far away as Belgium and Germany.
What do you know?
Some nuts, some not. Even these diehards more Star Wars fans than all-out fanatics.
I have a fiance, I have a pet, I'm a sports fan and all that good stuff. I have a normal life. It's not just about the movie, it's about the community that you find in line. My wife met 2 of her bridesmaids in line for Episode 1. You make friends here that you don't make anywhere else, and you keep them forever.
Well, the party really gets underway later tonight when Steve and his buddies bring in a big LCD projector in a truck. They'll be displaying all 4 of the previous Star Wars episodes to everybody assembled here in the parking lot. They're even bringing in big stadium audio speakers so those movies sound as good as they look. Star Wars Episode 2 just hours away. The fun has just begun. Here in San Jose, I'm Jim Goldman. Now back to you guys up in San Francisco.
All right, thanks, Jim. Well, joining us now live via webcam from the parking lot outside Century Theaters is Steve Dorsey. Steve, good to see you. Steve, can you hear us? It appears we're having a bit of a problem with the webcam, but Steve, if you can hear us, we wish you the best of luck and be sure to enjoy that show.